Welcome back to another episode of The Radio Psychs, your premier podcast for insights into everything mental health. I'm Dr. Aaron Haddock.
And I'm Dr. Rhonda Yu. We're psychologists who care about people and bringing science to practice.
And we're so glad to have you join us.
Please note that the information shared in this episode is solely intended for informational and entertainment purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical or mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Today's topic is the winter blues and seasonal affective disorder.
In today's episode, we're shedding some light on a topic that's as seasonal as pumpkin spice lattes, but not nearly as enjoyable. Seasonal Affective Disorder, also known as SAD or SAD. It's a condition that, despite its clever acronym, is anything but lighthearted.
True. In the winter, the arrival of shorter, colder days and longer nights signals more than just the change of seasons. For some, it marks the beginning of a challenging period, when they begin to feel like a bear that's supposed to hibernate.
I believe it. The transition into fall and winter affects more than just the landscape. It can influence our internal state as well. For some, it's a feeling of euphoria, but for others, it can be a touch of the winter blues, or worse.
Yeah, it really highlights the powerful impact of our environment on our well-being. So, Rondi, tell us, what is seasonal affective disorder?
Yeah. When we talk about SAD, we're actually referring to a subtype of clinical depression that's related to recurring changes in seasons. It usually begins and ends around the same time every year.
For most people, symptoms start in the fall and continue through the winter months, peaking in January and February. But I've heard that some people experience SAD in the spring and summer. Is that true?
Yes, though it's far less common and appears to be associated with heat and humidity rather than light deprivation. It's the seasonal pattern of symptoms onset that's the key indicator.
Right. And those symptoms can be quite debilitating, can't they?
They can. They're actually the same as depression, so feeling persistently down or sad, losing interest or pleasure in things that one normally enjoys, changes in appetite and weight, and sleep disturbances, including difficulty falling or staying asleep or sleeping too much. Feeling tired or fatigued is probably the most common symptom, but there are others.
Yeah, like social withdrawal, irritability, anxiety, having trouble concentrating and thinking clearly, and even thoughts of death or suicide.
And it's important to note that while many of us might feel less energetic or a bit down during the winter, there's a clear distinction between what we colloquially call the winter blues and seasonal affective disorder.
How so?
Well, the winter blues are milder, and people can usually push through it without significantly impacting their daily life. But SAD? That's a whole different beast. It can seriously impair a person's ability to function at work, at home, or in social situations.
What really piques my curiosity is the why. Why does it happen?
That's a great question. While we don't yet know exactly what causes SAD, one of the leading explanations revolves around a biochemical imbalance in the brain triggered by reduced daylight hours and less sunlight exposure during the winter months.
You're right. Sunlight plays a vital role in regulating our biological internal clocks, or circadian rhythms. And these rhythms are essential for aligning our bodies with our environment and daily schedules.
And while it seems clear that it's the short photo or sunlight period that triggers the onset of clinical depression and SAD, the specific causes are less clear. The leading hypothesis is that it's a slow-running biological clock in response to the later dawns that occur during the winter months.
So it sounds like for some of us, our internal clocks get out of sync with the environment during the winter.
That's the theory, at least. It's usually that circadian rhythms are shifted later than they should be in response to a later dawn. It's what's known as a circadian phase delay. But this isn't the case for everyone with SAD.
Right. As the days get shorter and darker, our bodies naturally tend to produce more melatonin, a hormone secreted by the pineal gland in response to darkness. Melatonin increases in the evening, signaling to our bodies that it's time for sleep, and tapers off in the morning as we wake up. However, it appears that for folks with SAD, melatonin is still being produced later into the day than it should be, causing them to feel like they should still be asleep, like internally it's still night.
Research also shows that individuals with SAD often experience decreased serotonin levels, a neurotransmitter that affects mood, appetite, and sleep. and is naturally stimulated by sunlight exposure. Vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, might also play a role. It's produced in the skin in response to sunlight exposure and thought to contribute to serotonin regulation.
So it's like a double whammy. More melatonin can make you feel lethargic and sleepy, while less of the feel good neurotransmitter can get you singing the winter blues.
That's right. And geography can play a role too. The further one lives from the equator, the greater the risk of developing it.
Pinning down the exact prevalence of seasonal affective disorder has been challenging for researchers, with estimates ranging from around 1.5% to over 9% in North America. Notably, in regions with northern latitudes, the prevalence can reach up to around 9 to 10%.
While in sunnier places like California, the rates drop to less than 1%. Though it's worth noting that 10 to 20% may suffer from a milder form of the winter blues.
Demographics also appear to play a role. Women are more affected than men, and while it can occur at any age, it typically begins in young adulthood.
Okay, let's turn to what can be done. What does the research suggest are the best ways to manage winter blues and seasonal affective disorder?
One of the best options is to get as much daylight as possible, and to supplement it with light therapy, which involves sitting in front of a large light therapy lamp that emits a bright light of at least 10,000 lux intensity, mimicking natural sunlight.
Experts recommend doing this in the early morning to simulate an early dawn, like in the summer to suppress the release of melatonin.
They also advise positioning the lamp so that the light shines down from above, striking the lower part of the retina and sitting under it for 30 minutes a day or more.
Even though therapy lamps don't require a prescription, I've heard you have to be a little careful because they can have side effects.
That's true. Side effects can include insomnia and headaches, and in more rare cases, mania and hypomania, particularly in individuals with bipolar disorder. So it's recommended that individuals consult with a healthcare provider before starting light therapy.
Psychotherapy can also be helpful. Cognitive behavioral therapy, for instance, is tailored to help individuals with SAD identify and change negative thought patterns and behaviors that may be contributing to their depression. Research shows that psychotherapy is not only an effective treatment for SAD, but may also offer more long lasting benefits compared to light therapy.
Alongside these treatments, lifestyle changes can also play a crucial role. Simple things like making your environment sunnier and brighter, sitting by a window while you work, spending more time outdoors during the day, even when it's overcast, and exercising regularly can make a big difference.
Establishing a consistent daily routine, maintaining connections with loved ones, and engaging in activities that give you joy and reduce stress can also be powerful tools in combating the effects of SAD.
If these strategies don't provide relief, considering an antidepressant might be the next step, though it's essential to consult with your doctor or a qualified mental health professional.
And remember, it's about finding the right combination of treatments and strategies that work for you.
Seasonal affective disorder is manageable, and with the right approach, you can not only navigate through the winter months, but thrive during them.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope this episode has brightened your day, no matter the season.
Take care and be well, everybody.
Take care and be well.